Alright, you bony spider-slowing bastards. Here is the ultimate Bone Widow build. This build can be done in party and lone wolf. There are differences and I will explain it all. So it's all based on Bone Widow. Bone Widow scales with summoning level and caster level. If you want to go down for a lone wolf mode, dump points into intelligence and wits. Getting wits high enough is important so that you get initiative bumped. That way you can act first, which can be crucial in some cases. If you're going non-lone wolf, that is party mode, then completely forget about intelligence. You won't have enough action points to deal damage on your own. So you're going to focus on restoring your party members' shields and health, while also buffing your Bone Widow and helping Bone Widow when it needs the help. And it's gonna need it, because Bone Widow's got a huge issue, and that is no magical armor. So Armor of Frost is one of these essential skills that work fantastically with Bone Widow. Anyway, in party mode, focus on wits and solely on wits, while dumping the rest of the points into memory, because you're gonna need a lot of memory to sustain all of these abilities. If you have some leftover points, put it into Constitution. You're gonna also need 4 points into Constitution to be able to wear a shield. Shield requires 14 into Constitution. I'm using combination of wand and shield. Wand is very useful if you're going a lone wolf build, because it's gonna give you more intelligence, which means essentially more damage. In party mode, it doesn't matter what you go with. Go for whatever weapon you want. As for the gear, I've chosen intelligence based gear. That's best for lone wolf. If you're not going lone wolf route, then just use whatever you want. It doesn't matter really. Throughout the first region, if you're going for a lone wolf, then split points between intelligence and wits so that you can get high enough initiative, and don't forget to put some points into memory as well. For non-lone wolf build, in first region I would focus only on wits and putting some points into memory as well. You really don't need anything else if you're going for a party version. Combat abilities should look something like this. 1 point into warfare so that you can get bouncing shield ability, which is extremely powerful, especially with high crit chance. Maxed out summoning. 2 points into scoundrel, cause venomous aura needs 2 points into scoundrel and 2 points into geomancy. It's not bad having adrenaline and cloak and dagger too. Pyrokinetic 1 point for clear-minded. 2 points into necromancy, and the rest of the points divided through geomancy and hydro. Putting leadership on this character could prove to be really beneficial as well. Totems around you that you summon and your Bone Widow and your party members will get nice boost to their resistances and dodging. So this is how the setup in the end would look like without Lone Wolf. With Lone Wolf you're gonna do the same thing, it's just gonna double the points invested, that's it. During the first region it's kinda complicated what you should focus on. I would suggest doing something like this. Completely neglect summoning throughout the first region. Put 1 point into warfare to get bouncing shield, put pyrokinetic to get clear-minded, 2 points into necromancy are a must, so that's already 4 points. And usually you can finish the first region when you're about level 7 or 8, which means the rest of the points should be put into Hydro and Geo. Bone Widow will be good enough throughout the first region as is. So you need only 2 points into Necromancy to summon Bone Widow. Venomous Aura is tough to get in first region, so I would definitely not focus on that, which means in turn no points into Scoundrel. Scoundrel should be only leveled when you're in Driftwood and when you can buy some skill books that require source points. To get Venomous Aura you need to combine Scoundrel and Geomancer skill books, and one of them needs to have source point as a requirement. Then when you leave the first area you can start maxing out summoning, putting couple points into Geomancy, Hydra Sophist, adding Scoundrel to the mix, adding Leadership to the mix if you want. There are lots of options here, but this is an overall guidance on how your bastard should look like. From talents I've chosen something like this. Elemental Affinity, Hothead, Mnemonic, Savage, Sortilege, Stench. Stench is extremely good here, so get it definitely for this type of character. Same thing goes for Lone Wolf and non-Lone Wolf build. When you're going Lone Wolf, just remove Mnemonic and put Lone Wolf, that's it. Keep the rest. Throughout the first region, I would suggest as a first option go for something like Mnemonic or Stench. And from level 2 onward, get all skilled up. That will give you one extra combat ability that you desperately need. Now on to probably the most important aspect of this whole build, and those are the skills. Even with the minimalistic setup like this is non-Lone Wolf mode, you're gonna need 20 to 21 slots. Skills that I would recommend are these. I'm just gonna scroll over them and explain if there's explanation needed. Get Vampiric Hunger. With Vampiric Hunger, your Bone Widow can get Lifesteal for 2 turns. Your Bone Widow cannot heal from Restoration, and your Bone Widow cannot heal from Poison. It's got 100% poison resistance. To heal from poison, you need to have above 100%. Armor of Frost being one of the most important skills for Bone Widow. Restoration, Cryogenic Stasis can be really good to save Bone Widow or one of your bastard party members. Peace of Mind to help with crowd control effects like Terrified, Charmed, Taunted, Enraged, Mad, whatever. Haste, Venomous Aura, Living on the Edge, Death Wish, Bone Cage. Bone Cage is good because Fortify will mostly be used to help your teammates or Bone Widow. Bone Cage is there so that you can help yourself if there's need for it. Chicken Claw can be good, but it's an optional thing, so you don't need to go for that. You can go, for example, with Bloodsucker instead of that. Soulmate can be especially useful with Bone Widow, as I'm gonna show you in the combat showcase. I've used it a couple of times when Bone Widow was frozen, stunned or whatever. I've just used Soulmate, it costs only 1 action point to be used, and Widow is back in action. Elemental Totem, get that as well, and these two are optional. Chameleon Cloak, Shackles of Pain. If you're going Lone Wolf route, then you're gonna need more slots, and you're gonna use Decaying Touch, Mosquito Swarm, Infect. These things scale with Intelligence and Warfare. Unfortunately, we are not using Warfare, but we do have enough points into Intelligence for these bastards to make impact, and also high enough crit chance can go a long way in making these offensive necro abilities powerful even without Warfare points. I want to thank a viewer called Volber. He is the one that told me Venomous Aura can be extremely useful with totems and summons because they will get benefit from it. This is what I should have implemented in my totem build as well. It's a big mistake that I didn't do it. I completely forgot about the existence of this aura, and Volber pointed that Venomous Aura would be extremely good in these builds. So thank you, mate. It's definitely a fantastic addition. And that's it. That's the whole bloody build. Let's get to showcase.
Typical testing spot, Paladin Bridge, as always. We're gonna start off by summoning a couple of totems. And then I'm gonna start by throwing Bouncing Shield. Because of the Savage Sortilege, it can crit, so it's very effective. Then, summon Bone Widow. I'm gonna use Venomous Aura. Obviously, without Lone Wolf, you're gonna have less action points per turn. Adrenaline can help you with that. Don't use Glass Cannon. I also used Venomous Aura. Now, every totem here will get Venom-based bonus damage. And Bone Widow as well. I'm gonna Fortify and use Armor Frost on Bone Widow. And now it's time to deal with Paladin Markswoman. Next to the normal damage, we're gonna do poison damage as well, which is magic damage. It can be helpful to focus some enemies that have lower magic armor. I mean, it's almost never good to split damage, but in this case, it's not a bad thing. Especially if you're doing this with Lone Wolf setup.
Obviously, in this turn, I'm gonna have a lower amount of action points because I've used Adrenaline in the previous round. So I need to carefully plan what I want to do. Bone Widow is after the Elementalist. one of the things I can do is put haste and still buff Bone Widow even further. You can immediately put Clear-Minded if there's need for that. That way, if Bone Widow gets taunted, it will remove Clear-Minded, but Bone Widow will not be taunted. So Bone Widow will be neutral if someone taunts her, it, whatever, and it previously got Clear-Minded buff. Right now I'm gonna devour this body. With it we're gonna get bonus damage. And now we're dealing more damage, which is always a good thing. In this case it's plus 30% more damage. In every turn I'm gonna summon Elemental Totem near me, because these totems will do poison damage next to the normal damage that they usually do. All because of the Venomous Aura. It's a fantastic setup for any totem based build, and in general it's good for every summon build too. And this is why Bouncing Shield is extremely good. Let's see if we can kill healer. Ah, not enough. Too low damage. I'm gonna use Burrow to deal with the healer. Unfortunately, Bone Widow lost Venom Coating because it moved out of the range. And it also lost Armor of Frost, simply because it ran out of turns. Armor of Frost lasts for 3 turns. When it is removed, Bone Widow will lose its magical armor. I'm gonna move near Bone Widow so that it gets leadership plus Venom Coated bonus. And now I can use something like Summon Inner Demon. That's an optional thing if you want it. And also if you have it. Not everyone has it. Now this terror thing, terrify thing, gets boosted by intelligence. So it works perfectly for us. Now I can choose who I want to terrify. It's gonna destroy their magical armor no matter what. And look at the damage. That is amazing. Good thing about putting stench on your character is that most of these bastards will focus Bone Widow. That gives you plenty of options to do DPS or summon more totems. Good thing is I have Fortify available. It all depends on how good your geomancy skill is. Now my Bone Widow is stunned. If I use Soulmate on it, it's gonna get its stun removed. Don't forget, you always got that Soulmate. Gonna put Armor of Frost on Bone Widow. And we can now do infect damage on these bastards around me. Let's do Corrosive Touch too. Doing physical armor damage. And putting acid on them. Now Bone Widow is healthy. All good, ready to go. She still got she. I don't know why I keep calling her she. Calling her. It's it, for fuck's sake. Alright. Still got bonus damage from Consumed Corpse. So all that I need is a victim. And I see one right here. I did lose Venomous Aura, but I will regain it in next turn, so I'm not worried about that. Now Bone Widow got provoked. And we have cure for that. Peace of Mind. to restore the ability to use Bone Widow, like we usually would. I'm gonna focus this guy here. Might as well put decaying on him. If I could move closer, that would be nice. There we go. Still have Bone Cage available. There are a couple of dead bodies around me. I'm gonna wait for it. And I'm not worried about losing Bone Widow. It's already off cooldown. Still, I have Living on the Edge and Death Wish that I can put on Bone Widow as well. Let's use Venomous Aura once again. And Bone Cage. Now this is proper. 12,000 physical armor. Unfortunately, Bone Widow got unsummoned. I did not check its duration. It's got only 5 turns duration, so you need to be careful with that. It's still in range of Venom Coating and Leadership, which is good. Now I'm gonna also call down one Elemental Totem, if I can, on Bloody Surface. There we go. And that totem now does physical plus poison damage, which is really, really good. Do I have any corpse I could consume? Nope. But let's make one by killing this bastard over here. Now if it moves out of attack of opportunity, it's gonna... I mean, if it fuck. I did not count on that. Armor of Frost is on cooldown. Unfortunately, I wasted it on the previous Bone Widow. Totems are mostly expendable here. You don't have to worry about them too much. Armor of Frost is on cooldown. Soulmate is ready, so I can unfreeze Bone Widow. I cannot, unfortunately, use Armor of Frost, still on cooldown. But I can summon another totem, again on Blood Surface. When they are summoned on Blood Surface, they do bleeding damage as well. I'm gonna kill the bastard. Might as well throw some poison on the ground. Ah, shit. Always forget about Deflective Barrier. Anyway, it's Bone Widow's turn. Now I can consume another corpse. Oh, goddamn, that's such a disgusting thing. Look at that. Mush. We got big mush. Now I'm gonna use some offensive spells. Decaying Touch for one. Bone Widow is doing alright. I'm gonna infuse it with... not infuse. Shit, completely. Bog te jebo. Now I'm putting Armor of Frost on Bone Widow so that it does not get crowd controlled. Gonna use Piece of Mind too so that it gets blinded removed. And I'm gonna fortify my arse so that I don't get crowd controlled as well. This is what you'll be doing most of the time. Buffing Bone Widow and yourself.
Toodaloo, motherfucker. Hey, you